Welcome to Find It in Fergus Falls. I'm Lisa Workman with the Fergus Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. Well, today on our show we are going to be visiting with Ken Budd. We're going to talk about technology, some of the changes, and some of the ways that you can protect your home and business as technology advances and those bad guys out in the dark web find their way into your home or business. But again, we're going to tell you how to protect yourself when it comes to technology, both in your home and in your business. We're going to make it simple, easy to understand, and of course, Park Region is the place to go when you want to stay connected in the community. Well, the Fergus Falls Chamber is going to be connecting you with our candidates who are running for the state legislature in District 9 and 9A. We will have a Meet the Candidates on Thursday, October 6th at 4:30. This will be at the Fergus Falls Public Library. There's no cost to attend, and our candidates will be fielding questions on issues that are related to the business community. So again, on Thursday, October 6th is the Meet the Candidates for Senate District 9 and the House of Representatives District 9A, and we will see you at that event at the Fergus Falls Public Library. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll be visiting with Ken Budd.
Do you love sports? Then Park Region wants you. We're looking for energetic and well-spoken individuals to announce the Ashby Aero Volleyball and Fergus Falls Otter football games on our local PRTV Now channels. If you're interested in these part-time positions, joining a fun, exciting work environment, contact our Human Resources Department at 218-826-8327.
Welcome back to Find It in Fergus Falls. Ken Budd, right here with Park Region, is joining me on the show today. And boy, we had a whole great, fantastic conversation about technology and the changes and stuff. And we thought, you know what? It's time to kind of reminisce a little bit about technology and the role Park Region has played throughout the Park Region in the region, Park Region throughout our communities for over 100 years.
Over 100 years, yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, years and years ago, the crews that were out there stringing telephone lines and connecting homes, and we were talking about like the rotary telephones and all of those things that have changed over the years. Park Region has been there the entire time.
Yeah. A lot of that. So we actually started in Dalton. Originally, yeah, and then we kind of grew into Underwood, but at the same time, phone service was always the primary service that we had offered.
And think about it. I mean, we're in a rural area, so starting out in Dalton, rural and lake, so running phone lines and connecting up homes and farms, that was a big feat. It
was, and a lot of that, came out of the, FDR and all his work, just to bring that communication into the rural markets.
Right. So I mean, it was a lot of work done, but we take it for granted that if you're at home, and still have a home landline, you pick it up and there's going to be something there. Now we're getting into, and we're really, well into the stage of broadband and internet service, but it's, to me it feels like the same kind of concept and the same kind of rollout, that you've got a vast geography to cover, you've got lakes to get around, and
I think
that coverage is trying to serve every home has got to be
it is a big deal. And I think the one of the big things about Park Region is, when we talk about being local, we're also a cooperative, and so and it's unfortunate because I don't think cooperatives are being taught enough in schools of what a cooperative really is and what a cooperative really does for your community. And so cooperatives are very community driven, and trying to give back to the community, employ local people, and keep as much local as you possibly can, and not just give back to the community, but also provide services for the community that other places like the cities have a lot of opportunity to get. And so it's a cooperative that has to kind of stay up on that technology, but all those members that have our service out in the rural markets, not in Fergus, are those cooperative members.
Yeah.
And so they're the actual owners of our company.
And that's pretty rare.
Well, we actually just, in our last annual meeting for the co-op, we actually had a vote to bring broadband customers into the co-op. So now, if you're just a broadband only subscriber, you are a member of the cooperative now.
Which is fantastic, because even those little monthly investments all add up to, growing the services that are available through Park Region. And again, like you said, very community focused too. And again, that whole local thing, real good fit with the chamber. We got it fit. I mean,
right,
that's,
right.
It's all about keeping it local. And for every member that you have and for every investment that they're making, it makes it stronger for the community. And again, with Park Region being around for 116 years.
I think it's 116 years.
Somewhere in that, we're not gonna, slice
We're
hairs
old.
over there. Yeah, we're old. We are old. And, you think about, again, from dial-up, rotary dial telephones to, party lines to,
Oh, yeah.
the dial-up internet service. Boy, when that first rolled out, I mean, that was kind of exciting.
It was. And, throwing copper lines in, party lines, all that other stuff. And now, for the last 5 years, we've actually been averaging between 120 and 150 miles of fiber every year
That
within
is
our local
fantastic.
area.
And continuing to try to serve more and more neighborhoods, more and more homes and farms, and
Yeah.
to grow that area of coverage. But that's an astronomical investment
Yeah.
when it comes to the work that has to be done to do that.
Yeah, keeping you connected. I mean, that's a big thing.
That is what you do. And again, we love the fact that we live in Otter Tail County, home of over 1,000 lakes. But those lakes make it hard for installations, I would imagine.
do.
You gotta get around them.
It's,
Can't go over them and can't go under them.
So I've seen a lot of different areas for construction. So, like Beartooth Mountain Ranges in Montana, just the flat lot, like in North Dakota.
Right.
Very kind of flat rolling hills. But the cost of construction is pretty high in this area. And that's because of all the lakes going around those lakes.
Right.
It's very expensive.
Well, I know, and you guys are doing everything that you can, working with the federal government to, roll out additional broadband, to connect more people with fiber to the home and those types of things. But, speaking of the government, you guys were ahead of the government, when we roll back the clock a couple years as COVID hit and everyone was at home and the students were going to be learning at home. You guys really stepped in and had a game plan set ahead of time. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was quite interesting. So when COVID hit, we, as a company, we were already, it's not like we were preparing for it, but we already had everything in place to function very well, and really not skip a beat when those things happened. When people had to go home, the biggest challenge we had was just getting enough laptops for some of those people to work from home.
Right.
But everything was in place to do that, to work remotely. But as far as our customers go, we had already started a program of ensuring that broadband was going to be provided to low-income households, or people that just didn't have broadband that needed it for schooling and things like that.
Sure.
So we had already launched out with that program, and shortly after that, then the FCC, they didn't mandate any of us to do that, but they asked if we could do that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice to know that we were one step ahead of them, and during that whole process, we were consistently one step ahead as far as broadband. Because when we seen COVID hit, we buy internet, so people jump onto our internet, and then we connect you to the outside world. And so those connections to the outside world, we had to ensure that those stayed up. That we had enough capacity to the outside world.
Right.
So that all of our users didn't get bottlenecked or anything like that.
Because the demand skyrocketed.
Oh, it did.
You think of every student in the country.
It jumped, our bandwidth, our connection to the outside world jumped by 50%. Wow. And so, and ensuring that all those plans are in place and how fast you can ramp that up to make sure that there's no service disruptions.
Right.
And we were able to do that. So.
Which is pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, that was an overnight, literally an overnight shift.
Yeah, and you know, it was done with local people in our local communities. We were able to do that.
Kudos to everybody that played a part in that. And as, you know, time has rolled on, people have determined that they can work from, you know, many people can work from anywhere. They're choosing the lakes area. They're choosing to live in, you know, rural Minnesota and enjoy the calmness that we have and the high quality of life and all of those things where they can, you know, take their work with them wherever they go.
There was a lot of seasonal homes that actually signed up for service and kept their service.
And right, and with that, now you're connected, you know, 24/7. The kids might be connected more hours than before, but maybe they're not doing schooling, and so they're connected, they're gaming, they've got friends over, different things like that. You know, everything happened so fast during COVID, we didn't have really time to think about some of the things, but there's some bad guys out there, and you know, if we haven't done those protections in our home when it comes to internet safety and data safety, boy, is that ever a big thing. You guys have the product My Safety Net that if folks aren't aware of it, they really one should be aware of the dangers, and two, you know, jump on board. Tell us a little, share a little bit more about the My Safety Net and what it helps and protects people with.
Yeah, so I'll kind of backtrack really quick. So with COVID, I think a lot of people realized how important their internet connection really was.
Oh, yeah.
And not just how important it was, what we were actually doing with it. You know, whereas before, you know, you just kind of, I'm going to throw this device in, or I'm going to stream this here and there off of YouTube. But when you really became dependent upon it for work and things like that, I think that's where the mindset started to shift. And it shifted on multiple levels, and it shifted from, I've got this network at my house. From a business, we're thinking, hey, what type of security mechanisms do you have on your network? Because you're connecting into our network, and how's this going to work? Because you got your devices, we got our devices, and we can't kind of control everything at once. And then you got the bad guys thinking, hey, there's a lot of people at home, and it's easier to get into their networks than to get into their business networks. And so there's a lot of stuff happening, and there's a lot of shifting happening.
Right, and all the different, like you said, all the different devices where somebody's like, well, I've got a laptop at home, I can work from home, but what's the protection as they use their VPN or virtual private network to get into their, you know, mainframe computer, get into, you know, log into work, and the data going both directions.
Yeah,
Yikes.
so when we came out with My Safety Net, the big thing for that is it does two things. The first thing it does is it gives you control of your network. So now, let's say you're working from home, and you've got you know, a son or daughter playing video games in the background, and you're trying to do a Zoom meeting or something like that, and it's constantly
spinning.
You're getting that connection saying internet connection unstable. We've all seen it, I think.
Yeah.
And so that pops up, and what you can do is this gives you control of your network, where you can go in and say, okay, I'm going to prioritize my traffic. So you can let the gamer in the house, you can let them spin. And
they can take a break.
They can take a break.
Yep.
Yeah, while you can go ahead and do your meetings and conduct any business like that. So
yeah, I'm sure there was a fair amount of hollering from room to room, from laptop to laptop, whether the kids were on, you know, somebody was working, somebody was maybe streaming a show. There's so many things that are connected now, we don't even think about it. You know, your watch, your just so many things.
And it's growing.
Yes.
And, you know, I think it's like at my home, there's 3 of us in the house, and I've got 20 5 devices or something like that that are.
That would be a great challenge for folks. Go through your home
Yeah,
or your office or both and count how many devices are connected. Things that are Bluetooth, things that are somehow connected to your
cameras.
internet,
Cameras,
heat, air, security system, might be your refrigerator. I mean,
it's gonna be more.
yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more, and how are you gonna manage it?
Earbuds, you name it. There's
Everything
dear.
is gonna be dependent on Wi-Fi connectivity within the home. That's where it's going. And we, so you have this, you have to be able to manage that. And how am I gonna manage all of these different connections? And there's a lot of technologies, there's Google and Amazon, they have their connected home technology. But still, when it comes to those things, there's a security element that we have to
Right.
really embrace. Because if we don't embrace it, there can be, trouble on the horizon, so to speak,
The
right?
bad guys get in.
Right. So with that, with My Safety Net, there's also a built-in protection. And what that does is, if somebody was trying to connect to your network, it's gonna let you know and say, hey, someone was trying to connect to your network. You'll get an alert on your phone or something like that. It'll also, if someone comes into your network and connects, and you allow them to connect, and they have a virus, it'll detect that.
Okay.
And then it'll isolate that device off of your network, so none of your devices will be impacted by that.
Right.
So it'll
because
tell you if you have something that's infected.
And you think about it, you take your phone, you connect to Wi-Fi somewhere, whether you're traveling or, at another business or wherever you are, you're like, oh yeah, we'll just hop on their Wi-Fi. And now you've basically taken the virus, if they've gotten onto your device, and you brought it to your house.
Yeah.
They travel.
It happens quite often, actually. I mean, Bluetooth or USB devices. If you're plugging in a USB device and then plug it in somewhere else. Most of the problems happen like with phishing scams, things
Sure.
like that. So you get some email that looks real.
Looks legit.
It looks like, hey, I won a prize, or it's my bank asking me to.
Or it looks like came from a coworker.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, the bad guys are good.
But they are, and they're getting better
Yeah.
and smarter at what they're doing. And so you click on a link thinking it's from your bank. They're questioning your password. You go into the website, you put in your password, and it says denied. Please call this number.
And you're toast.
Well, they got your username and password.
Yep.
So now they just fished and they got that information from you. And so there's ways to guard against that, and this helps you guard against that as well. So there's a lot of different security, security devices, things like that you can throw into your network to do those things. And so it's from a home base, also from a business. And so another thing that we provide, like for businesses, is security training. So we provide we can help you set up a policy for how do you deal with security training.
Sure.
Normally, if we're looking at it now, insurance companies are having a very difficult time insuring companies for cybersecurity.
Right.
And when you look at, I'm not an insurance salesman, but the way it's been explained to me is that the ratio, you have to kind of get 60% of claims out of all the people that are subscribing for whatever, security coverage that they have.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is there's 150% of claims, so there's more money going out than actually coming in. And because there's more money going out than coming in, a lot of insurance companies no longer want to insure cybersecurity risks. And so they're putting a lot of stuff in place for businesses to say you have to meet these requirements.
Right.
The average cost is roughly around $2 or $3 million for a business. Wow. And this is small business, so you're looking at 49% of compromises last year were small businesses.
Right, this isn't an attack on a corporation
No.
like a Home Depot, they found credit card information or things like that. This is truly on a small business where,
And they sit in your network.
Yeah.
So they'll sit there before you find out that you've been compromised. They've been in there probably for 280 days roughly.
Yeah.
That's the average. So almost a year they've been sitting in your network. And over that year, you have no idea what they're doing.
right,
So we
not
also,
good things.
so we also have a product that helps with that. So we have a product that will detect if somebody is in your system, and we can reduce that from 280 days to a matter of days. And so it's really important that businesses really think that way, because for a lot of small businesses, one compromise can put you out of business.
Absolutely.
And that's it's a real, it really happens.
Yep.
And, we always hear nightmare stories of those things, but, until it happens.
Right.
So it's better to have these things in place and not need them than to need them and not have them.
Exactly.
So-
And we started, the show talking about how technology has changed, and it was slow to change early on, and now things change so fast, it's so hard to keep up with it. But you guys are on the forefront of that. You're looking out for your customers, both residential and commercial customers, and you have the tools to help protect people as technology advances at such a rapid rate. Ken, if folks want to know more about My Safety Net at their home, or the safety protocols and cybersecurity things that you can do for their business, what's the best way to get that conversation started?
I'd say, from a residential, give us a call. Talk to one of our customer service representatives. They'd be glad to help you. If you're calling in to our help desk for any issues, ask them about it.
Yeah.
And ask them what you can do to be more secure in your home network. From a business perspective, give Scott Toso a call, and he'd be happy to talk to you about it. And in fact, both him and I would come out and talk to you about it. How do we better secure your business?
Yep.
It's very important, and the cost is not. It's not an insurmountable cost. It
Right.
really is not. There's a.
It's peace of mind.
It is, and a little bit you can really do a lot with it.
Right.
One thing to remember: if somebody really wants to get in, they're going to find a way. So there's no way to be 100% foolproof on anything.
But you want to be as protected
You do.
as possible and do the things that you can. And if folks don't have to understand how it works, they just need to know what it's doing for them, and you guys take care of those techie details.
Yeah, it's about mitigation and reducing the odds of something happening. So that's why training is really important. And if we can partner with you or with any business to, we can send out fake emails to your employees
Test them.
and log those and send monthly reports on how well they're performing. There's a lot of different options that are available.
Ways to educate, really.
Yeah.
Those are things that, again, as a local provider, you will do those things for our local customers and have been doing it for over 100 years. And there's so much when it comes to technology. I hope you'll come back on the show and we'll talk more about some more cool things.
I would love to.
Awesome. So glad to have you on the show. And again, we appreciate this opportunity to get to share some of the things that are going on here at Park Region.
Yeah, thanks.
You bet. We'll be back after a little break.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is here with the Park Region My Safety Net app. Welcome home to My Safety Net. The My Safety Net app is designed to easily tailor a custom Wi-Fi experience. The My Safety Net app is simple and intuitive. All features are accessible from the home dashboard. Easily create profiles for people, places, and things. Pause the internet. Set schedules. Run bandwidth tests. Get performance alerts and device statistics. Enhanced features allow you to filter content, prioritize devices and activities, get notified and keep track of web threats, intrusions, and blocked viruses. My SafetyNet app. Connect, control, and tailor the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. My SafetyNet by Park Region. Call today.
Well, I want to thank our guest today, Ken Budd, for sharing some great information about technology and security. And I invite you to check into the My Safety Net for your home when it comes to protecting your data, your network, and all your devices. Well, when you think about connectivity, we've got a lot of students out there who have done some schooling online, and coming up on October 13th, we're going to bring those technology careers back to the school. So we will be hosting or co-hosting, working with the Fergus Falls School District and many other partners for a college and career expo at the Fergus Falls High School Thursday, October 13th. This will be in the first half or the morning half of the day from 8 o'clock until 1 p.m. And we are inviting businesses in our community who have employees and want to continue to fill their pipeline of workforce to host a booth at the College and Career Expo. Just get in touch with the Fergus Falls Chamber. We'll share all the details with you, or you can go on our website at fergusfalls.com and find out more details about the College and Career Expo. Well, this has been our show for today. I'm Lisa Workman. This has been our Find It in Fergus Falls, and we'll see you again next week.